This chapter is exponential functions. So we're going to start with just the exponents first, and then we'll get into the graphing by the end of the chapter. This first page is fraction review, because I find that sometimes you just forget how to add and subtract a fraction for a minute. We've done fractions, we've used a little bit of fractions, but we're just going to do one whole page of a bit of fraction review for a second now. So first one, when you have a whole number and fractions, I always put the whole number over 1, right? So for instance here, if I have that fraction plus this 3, I put it over 1. Okay, I know you can just add it and go 3 and 2 over 4, but I'm just showing you my process. So anytime I have a whole number, I do this, right? So I kind of just do over 1. Then it kind of centers me in terms of multiplying them, adding them, stuff like that. So to do that. Only find the lowest common denominator, so LCD, when adding or subtracting. So lowest common is only for when you're adding or subtracting. Okay, lowest common is only for adding and subtracting. When dividing, we know that we're going to change, right? We've used this already before earlier this year. Change it to multiplication and then reciprocal. So there you go, multiplication. So dividing changes to multiplication, then reciprocal. We know that. All right. Move the negative to the numerator or the middle in their final answer. So when you get your answer, we always finish our answer by moving the negative to the top or to the middle, and we'll do that together. So this first one here, I put it over 1. When you're adding, I want to do lowest common denominator, right? So for when you're adding or subtracting, we want to do lowest common denominator, which is 4. If I'm multiplying, no lowest common denominator, right? So adding, lowest common, but here, no lowest common. Make sense? Right, so no lowest common for multiplying, just when you're adding. So my lowest common denominator here is 4, so I would multiply the top and the bottom by 4. And then we're going to add this together, so we're going to go 2. You can do it separately, so 2 over 4 plus 12 over 4, and that gets me 14 over 4, like that. So you add them together. You can go faster if you want. So when it's just the fractions and we're not doing variables and stuff, if you want to do a little faster, you can. So some people go, but I go 2 plus 12 and put it over 4. You can do that. We couldn't do that so much when they had the polynomials, when we had the rational expressions, because there were x's everywhere. But here, yeah, I get you can do that. Then when you do this, you always want to reduce your fraction. So I always put ARF. That stands for always. So ARF stands for always reduce fractions, right? So A, always reduce fractions. I put ARF on there, so it looks like I'm barking at you. ARF, 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 if you do it a bunch of times, but always reduce your fraction. When you need to start a new column, we're doing the big swooping arrow, put equals, and then I'm dividing the top and the bottom by 2. You don't have to show that division by 2, right? But in your head, you're thinking divide by 2, so I'm going to go 7 over 2. Zoom in a little. Okay. Right, so divide top and bottom. Sorry, those are small. You don't have to show that, but you're doing the same thing. So 7 over 2. I like improper, so we're going to leave it improper. So I'm going to note that down. So leave improper reduced. Okay, so we always want to leave our answers in improper and reduced form. It's just the more useful form. So leave it improper and reduced. So always reduce your fractions. That's what I'll put beside your thing if you didn't. ARF. Okay, and that's it. So now remember, addition, right? We need lowest common. Sorry, question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could you write it as 1 over 2 plus 6 over 2?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, reduce it first? Yes.
Yeah, could
you
reduce it first?
Yeah, you can reduce it first, for sure. Yeah. So the question is, you can see here that it's actually 1 over 2 and 6 over 2, so you can do lowest common 2. Yep, for sure. So if you see within here, yeah, I didn't even notice that. I noticed it here, and then I forgot. And I was like, oh, right. But 2 over 4 is actually 1 over 2. So you can reduce it to 1 over 2 and do the lowest common. Instead of 4, it could be 2. When you get to your answer, you still get 7 over 2, and you don't have to reduce at the end. Yep, for sure. Yep.
Do we need to write multiplication by 4?
From this one here, no. The problem is that I don't want you jumping straight to the answer. So would you show me something in between? Yeah, so just show me something in between, right? Just so it's not all punched into a calculator. What we want to see is that you didn't just use a calculator to get here. And again, that's why we would take away your calculators, because then you go, oh yeah, you had to have done it in your brain, not in a calculator, because we took your calculator away. But I'm not going to do that, because again, the tiers and then the floors just get slippery, and the caretaker's like, there's a sea of salty water coming out of your room. Yeah, that's tiers. No, that's why. So you can keep it, but try not to use your calculator for everything. Okay, so here, I'm going to put equals here. I'll go to the side, and then I'll head down here. So for multiplication, remember, no lowest common. Do not do lowest common when you're multiplying or dividing, right? You're wasting your time because then you're making your numbers bigger and smaller. So here we're going to do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So we're just going to get 12 over 35. Can I reduce that? 4, 3, 2, no, nothing. So you stop there, it's done. Okay. Here, you can put your equals beside or under, right? So I'm just doing one step, so I'll go under here, right? So see how I did beside, because I ran out of room that way. If I had to do more equals, I would just line it up under. Okay, but here I'm going to do this. So I'm going to do 12 times 4 and 1 times 9. There's two different ways to do this one. If you know how to cancel, you can cancel, but if you don't, some people do this. They go 48 over, so numerator times numerator, denominator times 9. And then they go, wait, I can reduce that. So you would reduce it, and you don't have to show me this part in red, so I would reduce the top and the bottom by 3, I think. I can only do 3, and I would do 1/6 over 3, like that. Or, okay, so you can do that, that works. Or, some people know how to cancel, right? Or are now comfortable canceling more. So if I had 12 over 1 and 4 over 9, technically, right, because we know how to cancel, you can cancel top and bottom, the 9 and the 3 there. So you can say, well, I want to cancel a 3. And remember, if it's multiplication, we said this was actually like one line, right? So it's 12 times 4, 1 times 9. So you can actually cancel the 3 here, make it 4, and cancel the 3 here, make it 3 right away. So then you would go ahead and say, but 4 times 4 is 16, and 1 times 3 is 3. So you get the same answer. If you don't like this canceling thing, you're not sure where to use it, then just do this. It takes almost the same number of steps anyway, because you're doing it here. It's just they used to teach this canceling thing a lot more in elementary school, so just you're not used to it very much. So if you're more comfortable here, just do this and then reduce it at the end. Right? So either one is fine. It's just we used to teach this way earlier, and then you were comfortable with it at the right away. Right? But this not. So if not, do this and just reduce it. Okay, as long as you look to reduce, you're okay. Questions? Stop me if I have questions. We're good. Next one here. So moving over. So this one here, division becomes multiplication. So 7 over 8, multiplication. So you can use the multiplication symbol or a bracket. It's up to you. Be 3 over 2. Right, so we're doing the reciprocal. Reciprocal for that one. Change it to multiplication. So you can do a bracket or you can do the times sign. It's up to you. Then we're going to do, I try not to use the time sign too much because we use it so much for the variables, right? But sometimes if it's just a fraction question, it's not distracting me too much. But I try not to, right? So 7 over 8, that looks cleaner to me. Okay, so or. And then same thing, you're going to do numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Do not find lowest common denominator when multiplying. So we're just going to get 21 over 16. I can't reduce that, and I'm good to go. Here, as soon as I see a whole number, I put it over 1. And then I'm looking for lowest common because it's addition subtraction. So for questions that are addition subtraction, we want lowest common denominator. So lowest common denominator for this would be lowest common denominator 3, 8, and a 1. So 24. Okay, 24. And here, so I'm going to multiply by the lowest common denominator, and we're going to do this. So this will be, I want to multiply this one 24. 24 This one I would multiply by 8, and 8, and 3, and 3. Yeah, so if you don't want to show that step, then I would see 48 plus 16 minus 9, like that, right? 24 times 2, 8 times the 2, it's a plus, 3 times 3 is a minus. You can put it all over the 24, because they're all sharing the 24, or each one individually. But you can put it all over. And then we're doing, what's 48 plus 16 minus 9, so 755? 55, anyone try that? Yeah, 55, right? So 55 over 24. And can I reduce that? 5 and 11? No. Done. All right. For this one, I was just reminding you that you want to reduce this, and we are not allowed to leave a negative in the denominator. So again, just a little bit of fraction review. So this one here, no negative in the denominator. Right, so right away we want to move that negative either to the middle or to the numerator, middle or numerator. So it's up to you. I can put it in the middle like this, and then I'm going to reduce the top and bottom. So reduce the numerator and the denominator by 4 would get me 8, and then 8 and 15, so I think that works, right? So 4. If you have to reduce twice, you have to reduce twice. So that would get me an 8 on the top. Sorry, 6 on the top. Sorry, I heard myself. Okay, so 6 on the top, and then a 15 on the bottom. And you go, oh, I can reduce that again. So I should have reduced it by 12, right? Because 12 goes into 24 and 60, because 12 times 2 is 24, 12 times 5 is 60. If you don't see it, I did that on purpose. If you don't see it, just make sure you check your answer and go, oh, I could have done more. But don't erase it. You don't have to erase it. Go again. And you don't have to show this division, right? I'm showing you so that you know what I'm doing. And then I could have done another 3. So it's not wasted. You just have to do it again. So you can either leave the negative here in front, like that, in front, or move it to the top, but don't leave it in the denominator. So that would be 2 over 5. So leave it here in the middle, or don't give me or answers, but for our notes, it's this. Okay, so for our notes, usually I don't want an or answer. You choose which one you want to leave it at, but here, either one is fine. Moving on. Squaring things, so that one's good for here. So squared means that you are squaring the top and the bottom separately, so it's going to be 3 squared, so it's 9, 7 squared, 49. And I can't reduce that, so stop. Again, just reminding you of how to do squares. And then order of operations. So order of operations, yes, it is bad math. Okay, so that still holds true. So brackets first, which means in the brackets. We're going to do these guys separately in the brackets first. Okay, so this one here, I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3 to get lowest common. And this one, top and bottom by 2. And we're going to get 1 times 3, so 3 plus 2 all over 6. Divided by, this one, I see it a whole number, so I put it over 1. And then I'm going to do lowest common, so times 3 times 3. And I'm going to get 2 minus 6 all over 3. We're going to be doing questions like this with brackets and separate, so you got to be able to do order of operations. Finish this off, so I'm going to get a 5 over 6 divided by negative 4 over 3. Keep going. This is 5 over 6 times, so multiplication, and then flip this over, so 3 over 4. Do I have to put the negative on the bottom with the 4? No, I can move it up and down, so I'm just going to put it back up to the top again. Okay, so you are allowed to move it. It's just a single negative, so I'm leaving it here on the top. I don't have to move it to the bottom, then move it to the top again. And then you're going to go numerator times numerator, and denominator times denominator. So negative 15 over 24. Can I reduce it? Yeah. And again, if you could see that you can cancel it here, you can go ahead and do that. If you don't see it, just reduce it at the end. Right? And so then again, you don't have to show me what you're dividing by, but it's a 3. Right? I think there's a 3 in there. So then you're going to go negative 5 over 8. There we go. No questions with that? Okay.